You ever have one of those brilliant ideas, a goal you're super excited about, but you just can't seem to start? You get so wrapped up in planning the perfect way to do it, the perfect first move, that you end up doing nothing at all? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into that, breaking down Peter Holland's Think Less, Do More to tackle that exact problem.
Oh man, it's a feeling we all know, right? That feeling of being totally frozen, stuck in what they call analysis paralysis. It's like the weight of your own expectations just stops you dead in your tracks. It is so frustrating, and believe me, it is incredibly common.
So the book actually puts a name to this feeling, inertia. And this is important. It is not laziness. It's more like a mental gridlock, this feeling that if you can't do something perfectly right now, you shouldn't even bother trying. This is the big problem we are going to unpack and solve today.
All right, so where does all this inertia even come from? Well, it all starts with this nasty trap of overthinking. This is where we realize the biggest enemy isn't the task in front of us, it's our own mind. Here's this psychological trap in a nutshell. We've somehow convinced ourselves that our very first try at something has to be amazing, whether it's writing a song, going to the gym, whatever. And that pressure, it's just immense. It makes that starting line feel like this impossibly high wall. So what do? We put it off, right? We wait for that perfect moment that, let's be honest, never really shows up.
Okay, get ready for this next part, because it's probably the most powerful and kind of counterintuitive idea in the whole book. It turns out we've been looking at motivation completely backward. We sit around waiting for it to strike us like lightning, but that's just not how it works.
Look at this. This right here flips the entire script. We think we need to feel motivated before we can take action. But what the book argues, and what's so revolutionary, is that the opposite is true. Action creates motivation. You don't wait for the feeling, you generate the feeling by actually doing something.
And here's exactly how that happens. It's all about a positive feedback loop. First, you take one tiny, unmotivated step. Maybe you just put on your workout clothes. That's it. Then you see a small result. Hey, I did something. That tiny win builds just a little bit of confidence, which then sparks a little bit of real motivation. And that motivation makes it easier to take a slightly bigger action next time. See? Momentum is born from movement, not from sitting around thinking.
So the big question is, how do we kick this whole feedback loop off? Well, it all comes down to this. We have to give ourselves permission to be messy. We have to be okay with being a beginner. We have to embrace imperfection.
I mean, seriously, think about it. A baby doesn't wait to walk until they can do it perfectly. They stumble, they fall down, a lot, and they get back up. Every great book you've ever read started as a terrible first draft. We need to give ourselves that same kind of grace. Your first try is supposed to be a little wobbly. That's not failure, that's just learning. And the solution here is so simple, it's almost funny. Just make the beginning ridiculously easy. If your goal is to write a 10-page paper, don't worry about that. Your goal is to write one single bad sentence. If you want to clean the whole house, just pick up one piece of trash. Lower the bar so low that it feels silly not to do it. Okay, so once you start moving, how do you keep moving? This is where systems come into play, because if you just rely on willpower or motivation, you're going to be inconsistent. Let's be real. To make action a real habit, we need some structures to guide us.
We all know about to-do lists, right? But the book introduces something I think is even more powerful, a don't-do list. This is a total game changer. It's where you decide ahead of time what you are not going to do. By getting rid of the distractions before they even have a chance, you're protecting your focus for the stuff that actually matters. You're playing offense with your time, not defense. Here's another brilliant system, the burner list. I want you to imagine you're a chef in a busy kitchen. The front burners, that's for the dishes that need your full, immediate attention, your absolute top priorities. The back burners are for things that are just simmering. Good ideas, but they're not urgent. This forces you to stop multitasking and pour all your energy into the things that will actually move you forward.
And this one is all about working with your biology, not fighting against it. It turns out our bodies work in these natural energy cycles. They're called ultradian rhythms. Basically, you have about 90 minutes of high energy, followed by about 20 minutes of low energy. The secret is to do your hardest, most focused work during those peaks, and then use the dips to rest or do easy stuff. It's about energy management, not just time management.
Finally, let's talk about the big, scary R word, risk. Taking action always involves some level of risk, but how you frame that risk in your mind is everything. If you see it as a threat, you're going to stay stuck in your comfort zone forever. But if you can flip that switch and see risk as an opportunity to learn and grow, well, it suddenly becomes the engine for all your progress.
And look, this is true at every level. A kid takes a risk every single time they try to ride their bike. People like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk took absolutely massive, calculated risks. The point is, no real progress, personal or global, ever happens by playing it safe. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's just a stepping stone on the way there.
So after all of these ideas, all these systems, you know what it really boils down to? It all comes back to one simple, incredibly powerful concept. It's not about the big, perfect plan. It's about what you do right now, in this moment.
This quote is the heart of the entire book. We get so anxious because we're staring at the top of this huge staircase and it just looks impossibly high. The secret? Forget the staircase. Just look down at your feet. All that matters is the very first step. You just need to start.
So forget about perfection. Forget about waiting for motivation. My challenge to you is this. What is one tiny, almost laughably small action you can take right now toward a goal you've been putting off? Don't just think about it. Do it.